Alright, the Clips are maintaining that form they're in to end the regular, because as seen in the play-ins, it was all about Kawhi and James controlling their offense. Whenever either of them got to play ones, it was a bucket, but whenever the Nugs shaded their angles, or even worse, whenever Yoke was showing off their screens, that just opened up the backside advantage, and it was no different whenever Yoke was on Dunn, because all that meant was Dunn had to be the screener, so he was still being brought into the action. But even when Yoke got caught dropping against James at times, or was dropping against the others, they just ate that space to get downhill, and their entire offense was basically predicated on exploiting Yoke's coverages. Zoo was just eating on the rolls or drop-offs, Dunn was eating on the baseline cuts, and as a team, they were all touching paint way too easily because the Nugs' first line was non-existent, so it was either a finish or spray every time. The Nugs can't afford that because Yoke isn't a rim protector, and it's usually Maul or MPJ on the low rotation, so they don't have a second line to fall back on. That was a contrast compared to the other end, because the Clips were always quick to collapse the paint, so the Nugs never got anything easy in the half court, and even when they tried to get runouts, the Clips were always recovering in transition. That paint point differential was really the difference in the first half, but the Nugs were able to at least force turnovers, and some of them came during a crucial stretch, because those last 5 minutes to end the half was what kept them in the game. It just turned into a game of manipulation in the second half, so Kawhi and James continued to exploit their advantages, and the Nugs were doing the same in their two-man game, because the Clips were willing to concede the switch. If anything, the defensive game plan was working early, because whenever the Nugs went to Yoke's mismatch on a small, they went unpunished for committing a double, and that's really the main reason for Yoke looking for his way more in the third. He single-handedly carried the Nugs that quarter, and that was just enough for the others to come around in the fourth, so that two-man game was finally causing problems, but it shouldn't have, because Adelman took MPJ out. MPJ was a cone all night, so I can understand why he did that, and with 3 non-shooters around Yoke and Maul, I can understand why the Clips were selling on both of them, because that was the right thing to do, but it just backfired every time. Russ, Gordon, and Brown kept getting cuts, kept making timely trays, and more importantly, kept getting timely O-boards, because the Clips were constantly in a scramble from all the selling, so Russ and Aaron were able to keep crashing on the backside to keep the possession alive. Even though the Nugs didn't convert on many of them, it was still burning clock and still taking away any chance of the Clips capitalizing on any of those stops, so those compounding hurt them down the wire. But what hurt them even more were their turnovers, because they never got those under control, and it was fitting for the final one on the inbound to seal the Nugs' comeback, because as I always say, the margin of error is very small in the playoffs, so those details are always the difference between a win or a loss, just watch the tape.